Greetings, pilgrims. We are live on the Ahysen Nation. It is Tuesday, the 15th of June. I'm Johnny Ahysen. Thank you so much for joining us here. If you are watching us on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and subscribe. Or if you're watching us on Facebook, like us on Facebook, and you'll always know when we are going live. What a show I have today, and it has been Todd Graves and I kind of visited for this show about a month or so ago, talking about his new program on the Discovery Channel or Discovery Plus called Restaurant Recovery. And we've had to put it off. We had a weather thing that interrupted, and last week we had the blood drive, so the show is going to air today. And ironically, the show that he helped, the restaurant he helped in Baton Rouge is on TV tonight. As a matter of fact, it is on Cablevision tonight. Let's see if I can get that up for you. Restaurant Recovery will air tonight at 7 o'clock, and he will be featuring Po' Boy Lloyd's in Baton Rouge on Cox DirecTV. There are some of the channels there. Basically what the show is he's rolling up his sleeves and helping struggling restaurants recover from COVID. He hasn't been affected near as much as other restaurants were affected by COVID because he's a drive-through, most of it. And so we wanted to get Todd on the air and get a little bit of his story, and also get a little bit of, find out, how he became as popular and successful as he is, and then also talk about Restaurant Recovery. He'll be on with Shaq tonight on TV. He'll be on Discovery Plus as well. All of the shows are running on Discovery Plus, but the one that he is helping, Po' Boy Lloyd's, will air tonight. So Todd, welcome to the show. What are you in now? 30 states?
Yeah, I think 30 now. Just recently opened our 30th state. Yeah, it's crazy. It's wild for me to think about it. Like, it was so hard for me to start the business, and and I'm grateful for that. Right? I'm grateful that we didn't get the best grade in the business planning class. I'm grateful that the banks didn't want to lend me. They were all very nice, but a restaurant to serving chicken fingers. Are you kidding me? And because I had to go work in the salmon fishing trade in Alaska to raise money. I had to go work in refineries. And so I always appreciate everything, and appreciate my team that works with me to achieve my dreams. And I appreciate my communities. I appreciate my customers. And so now you look at this in 30 states, I appreciate every restaurant opening. It'll never leave me.
Well, you look at things like restaurants in general, and I guess an average startup restaurant goes out of business. Do you know what percentage go out of business and how many years?
Yeah, I mean, it's a new restaurant starting up, let's say an independent, right? It's over half shut down within the first year, over half. And so that's why franchising is so popular, because they have a proven model and they have branding packages and marketing packages and things like that. And I know when I started, I know how hard it is to start a restaurant, and then I know how hard it is to be independent and to keep a restaurant open. And that's what spurred the idea for Restaurant Recovery during the pandemic.
Man, that is just incredible. Yeah, but you had some scary stuff. I would think a family man, and you have your family to raise, and you're going out and you're everybody's telling you no, and you start this one near LSU, and it just explodes. What is the secret there? And don't tell me it's the cane sauce, which we'll get into later.
Yeah, the secret is doing one thing and doing it better than anybody else. It's a focus, right? And so I just believe that. And I just, over the years, and I've never changed off of that quality chicken finger meal focus, which is played great. And then, that's the concept, but it's really all about people, and it's treating people right, caring about them. And that's what makes the difference at Cane's, because we have a great culture. The chicken fingers and the sauce are great, that sweet tea, but it's that smiling face that brings you back every time, that makes you feel like you spent your money at a place that appreciates your business.
Well, I don't know. I don't know I don't know what store Beaumont was, but that's where my mother lives and my family in the Beaumont, Houston area. And she would beat me up on the phone. When are you coming to visit your mother? Well, that wasn't the true question behind that. She wanted me to bring her canes. And I would bring her canes, but as you know, with a 3-hour drive, fried things like your delicious French fries, but we found we could put them in the oven, not the microwave. We could put them in the oven, and it gave them a little bit more of a kind of a rebirth. She never complained. And now you got a Cane's in Beaumont, and I never hear from Mom.
Sorry to hear that. Hey, people are starting to get these air fryers and reheat Cane's, and they say it's pretty good that way too. I'd rather you have it hot and fresh. People drive through. I like people come sit down in the restaurant. Let me give you right fresh from the fryers, and eat it that way. But and now we're getting to reopen our dining rooms.
She has actually told me about the air fryer, and I just recently got one. She's had one for over a couple of years now, and she heats up everything in it. Everything. All right, well, talk to me about restaurant recovery. Discovery Plus started your first show in April, and obviously with your anybody that knows you and your family here in this area knows how giving you guys are. And you picked out of all the restaurants, one of our favorite restaurants, because we work in the downtown area, is Poor Boy Lloyd's. How did all of that come to be, and how did your association with some of these superstars that are working with you, the Snoop Dogg and Shaq and Archie Manning and some of these others, kind of run me through a little history of how that came to be?
Yeah, well, when the pandemic started, Cane's sales actually went up, and that's because we have drive-throughs, right? Remember, it was essential businesses. I mean, people couldn't go into restaurants, but you could through a drive-through or delivery and things like that. And going up in sales didn't feel very good when you're taking it from these struggling restaurant owners, these independent, these family-owned restaurants that don't have the same resources I did. And I was watching them struggle. I was watching restaurants close, and I said, I need to do something about it. I've had a history in television, understand the power of it. And so being an entrepreneur, I hired a production company and created a Restaurant Recovery to go in and help 10 different restaurants in 10 different markets to help them just get through the pandemic.
What was your how did you choose the restaurants in these markets? Like, how did you choose Po' Boy Lloyd's here?
Yeah, we got a lot of applicants for just great restaurants, great owners. I tried to pick the restaurants that were very iconic to their community, right? And so, for example, a Po' Boy Lloyd's, downtown Baton Rouge, oldest restaurant. The Taylor family is there working every day. I mean, Fred, you go there like I do. Fred's sitting there at the deal. You had your wonderful Cajun lunch, smacks that peppermint down on the counter, and you feel great. You had a good lunch, and you love the family, and it's just special. I took my daughter there when she went to St. James. When she got a lunch, her little backpack. We go sit in there and get that whole experience. But me working downtown, Cane's headquarters is here. I mean, downtown just, the people evaporated overnight. No one was working in the high rises. There's no events going on Raising Cane's River Center. None of the hotels are busy. And so their business just dried up. And so I was like, this place, this family puts their heart and soul into this restaurant. It's important to Baton Rouge. It's important to all the tourists that come in and stay downtown to have an authentic Cajun meal. And I'm like, man, I need to do all I can to help them out and get through this rough patch.
Well, the good news is, and I see it firsthand because we work right down the street from Po' Boy Lloyd's, is downtown traffic is starting to come back. You're seeing buses. Yeah. You're seeing, the talk of the convention back. The ships are back, the riverboats, and that's great because that's one of the places they go right across right across the levee, and there's Po' Boy Lloyd's right there. So it's awesome. So tell me about the show. It's not like Bar Rescue where you go in and get all aggravated. Have you seen that show?
Yeah. Look, man,
This
I'm
is
not a big
totally
fan of the
different.
shows that go in and berate the people and tell them they're doing everything wrong. I mean, that wasn't what this is about. These were great restaurant owners. It was just about them going through something they couldn't have prepared for, a pandemic. Look, I couldn't have either. None of us saw this coming. And so how are you supposed to prepare? And then all of a sudden it happens and it comes on and it's virtually overnight. But look, I have a team. I got 40,000 crew members and I have so many resources that we could get there and think and do this. These folks are just barely keeping their head above water. They drain their savings. They've racked up credit card debt, just keeping their people employed. And so when you get like that, you can't think of all these other ideas on how to do these things. You're just trying to make it day by day. And so this was about going in and just helping them through a tough time and helping good people. And let me tell you, it felt great. It felt great to help out good people. When you give, you get more back. It's just true. And so when I could see some relief come over their faces, some smiles, it felt great. And look, inviting some of my celebrity friends to come in that I've met over the years to do it even made it even greater, because imagine the Taylor family down here back, and they cheered and it really lifted their sales. And what's really special about Shaq is he didn't just come to be the celebrity. He came to help with the business. He's very smart. He and I've talked for over 20 years. We talked entrepreneurship and he's different businesses from car washes to even actually he has a chicken restaurant. And so he came in and really helped discuss with the family what's going on. And the main thing he pulled out of the family was they never had to do marketing, right? Everybody's in downtown Baton Rouge. Everybody knows them. And they needed to market now to greater Baton Rouge. And Shaq really brought that out and really added value.
I know this is not his hometown, but he went to school here for so many years and has so many contacts. That was a hand in glove fit. What are some of the other celebrities and what other have you filmed all 10 yet?
Yep. Yeah, all 10 are going and all 10 are streaming on Discovery Plus right now. Really exciting that it'll be on the Cooking Channel every Tuesday night from 7 to 8 o'clock. 2 episodes every Tuesday through the month of June, starting June 1st. That Tuesday. So if you don't have Discovery Plus, you can see it on the Cooking Channel on regular cable. But yeah, filmed them all. I went for the friends that I've met along the way on my chicken finger journeys that I know are really good family and community people. Like, so Snoop Dogg, and people know him as the entertainer. I know him as the family guy. We talk about his grandkids. We talk about what we're doing charity wise and helping. And he's just a really good, thoughtful guy. I mean, look, another easy ask, I'm like, this restaurant in Burbank, it's Chili John, told him the story. He drove all the way across town, and came out to help out. He goes, Todd, I'll come. Yeah, absolutely. We need to help support small business, right? Shaq flew in from Atlanta to come do this, right? In New Orleans, and Michael Thomas and Archie Manning, the two Saints legends, they came out to help. Even Rebirth Brass Band came out just to reopen, to do it in true New Orleans fashion. Rob Snyder in Phoenix, actually went fishing with Rob this past weekend in Venice. He's down here shooting a movie. And he said, you told me you're going to show me Louisiana. I said, well, you want to go fishing out of Venice? He goes, where? I said, exactly. He said, yep, I'm coming. He reeled in a big amberjack. It was great, But these people they care, and they can lend their star power to really make a bit of difference.
So people that are watching this and thinking, man, I need a break. I want to do something, but I'm scared. Because becoming an entrepreneur, people think, oh, you work for yourself. That's the most frightening thing in the entire world. I mean, because I've got the security of the 1st and the 15th every month. You as an entrepreneur, you've got a payroll, you've got benefit packages to work out, you've got all of this, and it's frightening to go across the line. It's frightening to make that step. And for the first several years, I guess you're scared to death. What do you tell people that want to get out, branch out, have an idea, even if they're not being supported by family or professionals? What would you say to these people?
Well, I mean, first of all, you have to have a great concept, right? You have to have something that's going to generate income, and you have to have that.
You were told time and time again you didn't have a great concept.
But I knew I did. You know what I mean? That was the difference. Is like you got to believe in it and do it, and it's not just people telling you. You got to have your own gut instinct and know what you're doing. But you have to have something that's good. Second, you have to do something you love, because being an entrepreneur and business owner, you're responsible for everything. It's such work and it's such pressure. You're sweating payroll, the next day, and it's going to be something you love, right? And so I love the restaurant business. I like working drive-thrus. I like frying chicken, so it's never really been work. It's hard work, but it's never been really big work because I'm passionate about it. but then it's the commitment. Okay. And so many good entrepreneurs never make it and they never get open because they stop somewhere along the way. They finally give up because it's so hard to start a business from scratch. It's so hard. I mean, I even commercial fished in Alaska, like I said, I worked as a Boilermaker at refineries, and I saw other entrepreneurs with great ideas go through the same journey I did, but finally give up. And you can't give up. Like, you have to, I tell like business school students, I say, you have to imagine how hard it will be to, one, get your concept open, and two, keep it open, and think about that real hard. Then multiply that by infinity. And that's how hard it is. And if you're still committed, then you'll make it. If you never give up, you'll make it. You'll be successful.
That just sounds so easy, so simple. And I guess the thought process is simple, right?
Yeah, it is. You just have to be committed, and you have to be committed and never, ever give up.
It's that old-fashioned grit that we all talk about. Look at that, drinking some Cane's lemonade right there. I know what I'm doing.
Shameless self-promotion. Look, Cane's.
Hey, man.
Cane's.
I love it. Where do you go from here? I mean, you're now franchising, obviously, right? So where do you go from here?
Well, I mean, look, I franchise internationally is where we're doing franchise. Domestically, company. I like company operations.
Okay.
We do some non-traditional stuff, and then international.
Oh, so in the 30 states, it's not franchised here in the 30 states then?
No, we're doing domestic. We have a few franchisees left, and we're buying them back, and we're about 100% company-owned restaurants. I like to partner with my restaurant partners, the people that run the restaurants. That's who I like to partner with, and we have a program with them. But we're in 30 states, and now we're slow growing into the rest of them, growing it right. We're opening about 100 restaurants every 12 months now, and I feel good about that pace, and hopefully fill out here in the United States. And we're doing well in the Middle East, and maybe Asia next. Who knows?
Is that too fast? I mean, I've heard economists say you can grow too fast, and the very thing that made you popular can lead to your demise. Does that?
Yeah. No, we've been open in 75 a year going up to now, and I just have the resources now in all the regions to really hit that stride right now. I hope to stretch that to about 120 here in about 2 or 3 years from now. Look, it's been, Cane's is like, I feel like we're just getting warmed up, but we're having our 25th birthday just this year, and about to hit 600 restaurants. So, believe it or not, it's been very, it sounds like a lot of restaurants, but it's been very, very methodical, placed and paced to make sure we open every restaurant right.
What was the biggest challenge? I know you guys had the drive-through, so you were, I don't want to say less infected, and I don't want to downplay the pandemic, but what were some of the other restaurants' biggest challenges, aside from the obvious, that you ran into that might have made your eyebrows go up? And I didn't think about that.
It was most of the restaurants I helped, all of them, they were all great dining establishments. That was their bread and butter, right? They had people come into their restaurants, and they loved to interact with their guests, their customers, and that's what they did. And they did just a tiny bit of takeout. And so what I had to do in all these restaurants is basically take them from a predominantly dine-in business to to-go machines, right? And it might sound easy, but it's not easy doing it right. It's a lot of technology involved, right? We use swipe by, curbside pickup. We did mobile ordering. It involves a lot of technology to do that. Setting it up on their websites for to-go ordering, setting up specific areas in their restaurant to do the takeout. And my goal with getting them set up there, even did one restaurant, we set up an old-fashioned car hop outside, the back of the restaurant. That was Chili John's. Was around that era anyway, but people could pull in because no one could go inside their restaurant because it was just tiny inside. And so literally switching them to that and turning it to go machines is what's exciting now, is since some of the seating mandates are being lifted and they're getting more dine-in business, they saw that to go component, and they're actually coming out stronger than ever.
I was going to say, you've added another income source to some of these restaurants that they, A, may never have had, and B, since COVID forced them into this alternate source of income, they're going to keep that as, a part of their package, I would think.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah, they're going to keep all of it. All of them are doing and setting up. Even Smoky John's in Dallas, I got them set up with selling their sauce and their rubs. They're like, the sales are through the roof. They're like, this is incredible. And it keeps going more every day. So that's exciting to see.
Interesting you mentioned that. I went to a crawfish boil not too long ago, and everybody had to bring something. Bring a dessert or bring whatever, bring beer. I went by Raising Cane's, bought lunch, and also had them add a few cane sauces in there. And I brought, my gift to the party was cane sauce for crawfish.
It goes great with crawfish.
They went crazy with that.
I love it. Well, thank you for doing that.
I talked to Brandon Landry the other day with walk-ons, and he said that they all call you Hollywood. I said, yeah, I'm going to talk to Todd next week. Oh, Hollywood. So your nickname in the industry, I don't know if you know this, in a very endearing way, is Hollywood.
I got that nickname actually as a Boilermaker when I was working in refineries in LA. And all the Boilermakers had a nickname, and they put it on your hard hat. And mine, after a long night out in Hollywood night, getting late to work the next morning, that was what I was labeled Hollywood. So that's kind of stuck since then.
So Baton Rouge is pretty tight. Any more openings in this area, do you think? Or you pretty satisfied with?
We're pretty saturated. Yeah, we're absolutely saturated. But but the areas around are growing. We got to open up in Walker, which was really nice, because it's grown, right? And so as they continue in areas and we're having good growth, we'll continue to go. We are opening on the West Bank in Brewley, and we will open that this year. So it's good to see in the surrounding greater Baton Rouge area for us to be able to continue to grow.
And your pet was Raising Cane's. Your original dog was Raising Cane's. Do you have one that you always will name Raising Cane's because of the marketing in the restaurant?
We're on the third right now. We're on the third, Raising Cane the third, and she's a total sweetheart.
Well, we had the very first one in studio many years ago, and that was just an awesome, awesome dog.
I mean, thank goodness a friend told me. So didn't have a good name for the restaurant, and we were going to call it Sockeyes Chicken Fingers. It was the salmon we fished for to raise money for it. And luckily a friend said, Sockeyes Chicken Fingers just doesn't sound good. Like, well, I got to get some signs made. I'm not in love with that name. What do you think? They're like, you ought to name after your dog, because Cane was out, when I was reconstructing the mothership. You ought to name after your dog, Raising Cane. It's like, Raising Cane, really? Yeah, just call it Cane's for short. And then it stuck. And which is fun because, I wasn't thinking really of it as a mascot, just thinking of a name. But later on, it becomes a mascot, kind of like Mike the Tiger. Really fun. Look, Cane 3 has her own Instagram page and things like that. So it's kind of fun to have a dog mascot.
Give me again real quick before we leave. It's Discovery Plus, but it's also going to be where for on TV if you don't have Discovery Plus?
Yeah, it was Restaurant Recovery, and it's streaming on Discovery Plus right now, all 10 episodes. And then in June, every Tuesday in June, starting June 1st, 7 to 8 o'clock, it'll air 2 episodes every week on the Cooking Channel. So Cooking Channel is right by all those Discovery channels, and if you have cable, you should be able to tune in on that.
So you'll never go hungry with Raising Cane's right around the corner.
I appreciate you having us on. Great exposure for these great restaurant owners. Restaurant Recovery is a really special project.
Well, on behalf of Po' Boy Lloyd's and all of us that eat and live in the downtown area, thank you for that. That was fantastic. Fantastic to help those guys. By the way, tell Garrett hello for me.
I will.
Todd Graves of Raising Cane's and Restaurant Recovery. Boy, it's going to be such a great show. If you haven't seen it, you get a chance to see it free tonight on your cable channels. And again, he's going to be helping out Po' Boy Lloyd's. Kind of a story that parallels Todd's own story, as a matter of fact, because Po' Boy Lloyd's was, came to be with hard-earned money from, hard-earned money from the things that they were doing there at Po' Boy Lloyd's. So that's our downtown success story, and it'll be tonight, 7 o'clock on the Cooking Channel. You saw where it's at on all the cable networks, so we're going to kind of definitely look forward to seeing that. Todd Graves with Raising Cane's. Do you know what you're having for lunch today? It is Tuesday, and that'll wrap up another edition of Asian Nation. Well, I don't know why that keeps playing. So we'll definitely see you guys a little later on. We're doing a couple of things now on Asian Nation. We're doing 2 a week now. We'll always have the Tuesday show at 10 o'clock with special guests like this. And then we're going to introduce you to some of our team members here at Channel 9, find out what they're working on. Yesterday we had Chris Rosado. He was at the Capitol, our Capitol correspondent, kind of gave us a little rundown on the legislative session. And we're going to do a couple of those a week. So we'll have another one coming up for you very, very soon. But in the meantime, you can definitely catch the ones here on Tuesdays at 10 o'clock. And again, a big thank you to Todd Graves and Raising Cane's, Shaq, and the entire gang. Watch that episode tonight. It will air at 7 o'clock on the Cooking Channel on your different networks. And again, there they are. 231 on the Baton Rouge Cox, 232 on DirecTV. Dish has 113 and AT&T Uverse. You can watch that on 456. Well, until next week, I'm Johnny Ahysen with another edition of Asian Nation in the books. We'll see you later in the week on WAFB 9 News this morning, and then 1 week from today for another Asian Nation. Hey, have a great week, everybody.